In November of 1975, representatives from 7 state firefighter associations gathered in Chicago to talk about establishing an organization, national in scope, to represent volunteer firefighters. The first meeting of the National Volunteer Fire Council was held on March 15, 1976, with 12 states represented. Over the years, the NVFC has continued to grow and mature. It's so exciting that our birthday coincided with the bicentennial of our great nation, and just as exciting that we'll be celebrating 50 years when the nation celebrates its 250th. We have a lot in common with this great country's founding. George Washington was a volunteer in Alexandria, Virginia. Ben Franklin was one of the founders of Union Fire Company in Philadelphia in 1736. And Thomas Jefferson started a volunteer fire department in Richmond, Virginia in 1779. President Franklin Pierce was a volunteer in Concord, New Hampshire. President Calvin Coolidge in Northampton, Massachusetts. And President Herbert Hoover in West Branch, Iowa. Of all of these, I believe West Branch, Iowa is still a volunteer fire department. Our country's founders believed in individual liberties, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But they also knew that protection of the citizens and their property from the ravages of fire was not something that could be done alone, which is why they organized fire companies. They knew that one wooden house built close to one another in our cities was a recipe for disaster. They knew that a wildfire in grasslands would ultimately find a house or a barn unless checked by the townspeople. That's why my dad got involved in the fire service, and I suspect why many of you got involved, to serve our communities, to help out our neighbors when they need our help the most. We know that if we don't volunteer, there isn't anyone to handle those calls. Over the years, we evolved into a service that doesn't just handle fires, but rather are an all-hazards agency. The country started that way too, a nation founded over the love of liberty, that found when it stood for what was right, it would grow and prosper. There's no country on this earth, none was ever founded, that can match our nation's strength, its generosity, and its kindness. The same can be said for the nation's volunteer fire service. Volunteer firefighters make up the overwhelming majority of firefighters in our nation. Volunteer firefighters cover the largest landmass in the nation. Volunteer firefighters are professional. They're strong, they're generous, and they are kind. Have we made mistakes as a nation and as a fire service? Yes. We didn't give women the right to vote for many years. And we couldn't see the need quite to have female firefighters. We were okay that a huge section of our population was enslaved, and we couldn't bring ourselves to have anything other than Caucasian firefighters. Just as a nation grew in might, it changed its attitude, and as the volunteer fire service grew, we understood that we couldn't exclude segments of our population from among our ranks. I am a proud American. I am very proud to serve this nation as a volunteer firefighter. Every day, our brothers and sisters are fighting fires, extricating people in rescue situations, caring for our citizens when their health demands it, responding to gas meters that are broke off, responding to wildland fires, watching the clouds for the next weather event, and so much more. If you're listening to this and you're a volunteer firefighter, thank you. If you're listening to this and aren't a volunteer firefighter, then now is the time. Your community, yes, even your nation needs you. God bless the volunteer fire service, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.